Hi, and welcome back to Food Farms and Chefs. I am super excited to introduce personal chef, personal chef Dan Ninerell, who has a company called Modern Classical Chefs. And you are running that out of New Jersey, if I remember correctly. So, Dan, welcome to Food Farms and Chefs.
Thank you so much for having me, Mars. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No problem. So you come from your history or your career background previously was in corporate America. But how did you start in on this leg of your career?
Yeah, I've been cooking for like 30 years. Always loved it. It was my passion. I started out like, watching all the amazing shows that used to be on PBS at the time, Great Chefs of the World, Emerald, uh, 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 the Raging Cajun, Justin, the Amazing Cajun. So many great shows, and I just took a love to it. It was my passion, but I was doing the 9 to 5 grinds. Did that for many many years, and then COVID happened, and got me to look at things a little differently. I saw a need for this business. I hired an excellent coach to help me flesh out my business, my branding, and I decided to hang out my shingle. I quit the corporate job, walked away from it to do this full time, and I couldn't be happier. Couldn't be happier.
So, I mean, a lot of people who switch careers, obviously, they have a transition where they have a learning curve. I'm looking at some of your menu items, and you went like you don't have basic foods. You have more elaborate foods that you create for people in their homes. So I mean, you said that you've obviously, I mean, you're an adult, you've been cooking your whole entire life, but watching television shows and then transitioning into actually creating some of those dishes that are far more elaborate than most home taught chefs. What like how did you garner like the skill level where you're creating something that's a little bit more elevated and eloquent as far as people's palates are concerned?
Wow. Well, thank you for the compliment. Because to me, like I didn't want to do the haute cuisine, the foo with the microgreens and the plating with tweezers and everything, because that's out of my realm. But I wanted to do like my whole vibe is I love Europe. I always feel like I was born on the wrong continent. I love the way they do things over there. I love the way the food tastes, the wine, just their whole passion towards life. And I kind of wanted to synthesize that into a business model. So I figured I'm going to do, European cuisine, but like I like to do French, but I like to do like French bistro, like rustic kind of dishes that gives you good portions. It takes a little bit of technique to make, but, the flavors are amazing. And, there's a thing called YouTube, every day. No, every day. Like I'm scouring recipes, right? I'll find a recipe. And my wife, she didn't know it until recently. She's been my guinea pig for many years. I'll try things out on her and she's brutally honest. She'll give me her opinion, no problem. And then I'll tweak things, So it's like, okay, I find something that looks great. Well, now, I want to make it. So then I always look for the authentic people, right? I don't look for, you know, John's, recipe. Here it is. I look for like the French grandmother or the Italian grandmother, how they doing it. And just kind of, go from there. You have a basic skill set, knife skills, sauces, things like that. Then it comes down to the technique, and I study that meticulously every day. Every day. I'm looking at something every day. Before I came on, I'm on my phone looking at things. That's just the way I am.
Researching. Um,
Researching.
It's and I mean, even going out to eat at some of the fine dining establishments, you can write off as research too. Um, but walk us through because obviously you're entering people's homes and creating these culinary delights. You can opt between 3 courses and 4 courses of a dining experience in your own home. Walk us through like what the process would be for someone to hire you to sorry, I don't want to use that trigger word, um to create a cuisine, a dining experience in their home for a private party.
Great question. So what it is, it's, I network weekly, I meet a lot of people, generate the interest. And then, I invite anybody interested to give me a call. We'll schedule a personal chef consultation. So in this consultation, I have one tomorrow, as a matter of fact. And we'll talk about likes, dislikes, any food allergies. Do they like fish? Do they like protein? I'm not necessarily a vegetarian guy, but I'll give everything. I have a repertoire of all kinds of different recipes, and it's about getting to know the client. So what you do then is after you've had that consultation, you get a little feel for what the client likes. Then you go back and forth with some menu choices. So you'll say, okay, we had this talk, you like proteins, do you like beef? Okay, here's this recipe with this side, this salad, this dessert, etc. And you go back and forth. You propose a menu. They might say, oh, I don't like that, but I'd like to have this. Okay, back to the drawing board, kind of give them a couple other things. Then finally, when they decide on the menu, what they like, um, you would send a deposit to book the date. And at that time, once we have the date booked, we'll go out, we'll do all the food shopping, we'll come into your home, we'll cook the meal, we'll serve the meal, we'll clean the dishes, we'll clean the kitchen, we'll take everything so you can spend time with your guests. My motto is like open that bottle of wine, sit back and enjoy your guests. And I mean that because a lot of people that, never had a personal chef, they're in and out of the kitchen, and they're stressed and it's like they can't enjoy their guests and it's not a fun experience. So I just did an event 2 weeks ago and the woman thanked me up and down, like, oh, you took care of everything, that was wonderful. And I said, that's what we do. That's the whole essence of what we do. We bring that restaurant experience into your home.
Now, I'm Gene's probably chomping at the bit because he's been in the culinary industry in all various aspects. So I feel like Gene probably has a question for you.
Well,
Sure.
I think it's very important as we were skating around the topic a little bit, something that you spoke of. I mean, excuse me, and so many caterers will actually confuse this, and you were so eloquent earlier in defining it. What people don't often know is that there is a very distinct difference between, as you said, a private chef and a personal chef and a caterer. And a caterer is not necessarily any of those three. But what you do is a very finite world and very specific and obviously requires a skill set very tailored towards you and understanding people. So can you define for our listeners what a private chef, personal chef, and caterer, what those differences are?
Thank you, Gene. And again, another excellent question. So let's look at a caterer first, right? A caterer cooks the bulk food for the large events. They serve it in the chafing dishes. It's served buffet style usually. It's for a much larger event, all right? A private chef would be someone that works for an athlete, let's say. So an athlete might hire a professional chef to cook them certain meals for a certain nutritional requirement. And that private chef works for them exclusively, cooks for them breakfast, lunch, dinner. if they have friends over, whatever. It's like an employee that's on call to cook, food whenever the client needs it. Now, personal chef is a little more intimate. Okay. So we offer three basic kinds of services. If anybody checks out my website, we do a weekly meal prep for busy professionals that don't have time to cook nutritional meals, don't like to cook, whatever. We'll go in there, we'll cook a week's worth of meals, we'll label it, we'll freeze it, we'll put it in the refrigerator, whatever they want. They can grab it on the go. They love it. We do a family style dinner. Working professionals, again, a mother or father doesn't feel like cooking dinner. They want to do something nice for their family. We'll come in and we'll cook a dinner. We'll serve it right at the table, but we'll serve it more family style. And the dishes and the Dutch oven. Whatever we're cooking in. It's a much more not quite as intimate as the plated, which is our signature service. So the plated event is like I described on what we have with our consultation. They want to have something, intimate, like a restaurant experience brought into their home. It's, 3-course, 4-course, whatever they want it to be. We serve it. We could serve it French style, American style. We'll serve it with wine. I'm on a big mission, by the way, to serve my meals and pair them with New Jersey wines. And I love it. I'm scouting out wineries to bring something different and unique to my clients. And that's what we do. It's much more intimate experience. And no disrespect against our restaurant brethren, by the way. We don't want to take anything. That's a whole different realm. The whole idea behind a personal chef, and we're kind of ahead of the curve on this because a lot of people don't really know that we exist. And it's a good thing because we have to explain to people what we do, and they're really open to it. When they find out that someone comes in your home and can cook like in a restaurant experience, they don't have to go to Philly and worry about parking. All those things that, poor service because they're short staffed, whatever. So it's a little different and very, very personal kind of service.
And it also bodes well for, say, like we just came off of Easter, obviously, Passover, Easter, Ramadan, all of the big religious holidays kind of coincided at once for, the first time in 33 years.
30 years. Yeah, I just read that.
And but it's also something where it would be amazing to have a family gathering or even just a gathering in general for something where you're like, you don't want to go out because it's a larger party or group of people and you want it to be more personalized. So, hiring somebody like yourself with your company would obviously, coincide with having that larger group and not having to worry about the running around of and cooking and not being able to spend time like you had mentioned, because I've definitely I'm usually the person in my family group that gets tethered with the whole, cook for everyone, because I'm the one with the most skill in the kitchen. But it eliminates any time that you actually get to spend with the people that you love. So for things like Easter, like Mother's Day, which is going to come up next, I think, you can hire you can hire yourself, to come in and cook for everyone and make everything easy.
You got it. You got it in a nutshell right there. That's exactly it. Someone, birthdays, anniversaries, things like that. We get a lot of inquiries on, and I'm open Mother's Day. Nothing going on so far, but that's a perfect example right there. For like a family plated. Something a little more, not quite as fancy as a plated, but you have friends, family, and you have a nice intimate day. So
say somebody like myself, who I eat just about anything that you put in front of me, and I really don't have any food allergies outside of weirdly pear and kiwi. But what would be something that, a menu that you would create for, a 3-course menu? Let our listeners know, because we have a couple of minutes left. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give you a 4-course menu. That's usually what we'll do. We'll do an appetizer, we'll do a salad, we'll do a main and a dessert. But I love filet, so I'll just give you like I I just cooked this for my wife because I cooked it for a client 2 weeks ago. I didn't get a chance to eat it, and I absolutely love it. So I did a sambuca shrimp appetizer. All right, so we got the shrimp, tiger prawns, sauteed them, and a little bit of sambuca, a little bit of butter, a little bit of shallots. Finish it with some cream. You know, serve that with some chive. Wonderful appetizer. And then did a salad lyonnaise, which was bitter greens, lardons. It sounds fancy when you say it that way. And you poach an egg, you put that on top. The yolk runs right down, nice and neat and creamy, and that's served with a sherry vinaigrette. Then we'll go right into the main, which would be a pan-seared filet and a bordelaise sauce. So that's where my New Jersey wines come in. I scouted this out specifically. I wanted to keep it in New Jersey. And obviously, Bordeaux wine is French. So I went to Charette Winery. I went to the sommelier and I said, this is what I want to do. They recommended the perfect wine. So I did 6 fillets. That was 1 bottle of wine. I make my own stock. Did that, reduced it down, served it with some bone marrow. That was the main. And my signature dessert is bread pudding with a butter bourbon sauce. I love that all day long. Drizzle it right on top. That was it. That would be a typical menu I would do.
and that sounds absolutely wonderful. Now, for anybody who is looking to hire you, where can they find you?
www.modernclassicalchefs.com.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on Food Farms and Chefs. And I will reach out probably to have you come in at some point in time. But
I offered you a free tasting anytime.
I know. For anybody looking for a delicious meal created inside your home with the cleanup on top of everything else, reach out to Dan. And we look forward to speaking with you again at some point.
Amaris, thank you for your time. Gene, wonderful meeting you. It was a pleasure to be your guest today. Thank you so much.
Chef, thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. It is my honor to bring Gene Blum, who is one of our co-hosts on Food Farms and Chefs, to talk about Tranquility Brewing Company. Gene, welcome to the show.
Well, welcome everybody. Kind of strange being on the other side of the microphone, but hey, it's a wonderful opportunity to talk beer and bourbon and food and the future of Tranquility Brewing.
And I mean, talk about a history. You guys, are located in a building that has so much history for the US because astronauts trained there. I can't imagine like walking into an event space and seeing this gigantic wheel in essence where astronauts sat inside and got spun around.
Yeah, it is kind of a unique thing. So we'll start off with a little bit of Tranquility Brewing Company does not get its name from the idea of peace and tranquility. It is named after the Sea of Tranquility, where Neil Armstrong first walked on the moon. The reason being is because Tranquility Brewing is located in the Fuge. The Fuge is short for the centrifuge. The centrifuge was one building as part of the Naval Air Development Center in Warminster, Bucks County. That was a secret military installation up until the 90s. Some of the great research for the Navy that came out of there was GPS systems, Nomex firefighting system or fire retardant uniforms and systems. And then the centrifuge was one building in it that holds the record for G forces. It was a G force testing machine. It is the world's largest, most powerful centrifuge ever built, capable of doing 40 Gs. It's just an amazing piece of history. But the great history of it really was when NASA kind of moved the space program training up there, and all the astronauts were coming up to train prior to going to the moon and all the way up into the early shuttle days. So it wasn't just a one-time thing. It was Gemini, Mercury, Apollo, and beyond, and into the early shuttle days. So that is the heart of the building, and then the brewery is one part of that. We also have the Fuge, which is our large event space. We have the studio, which is our medium event space, and then we have the lab, which is our smaller event space. So really, a great facility that has our craft beers in every bar. So we have our craft beers pumped all through the building. It's just a really fun, unique place.
So speaking on the craft beers, obviously, we're changing over from the winters where it's like your lagers and your stouts where you have your heavier beers into your IPAs and saisons and your lighter beers. Sours are probably going to start coming to play too. What are you transitioning into as far as what's on tap?
So this week we're going to be coming out with a summer lager that's kind of along the line of Corona, even to where it's going to be served with a little bit of lime. Um, our cider and our chocolate stout and our hazy IPA are kind of our mainstays. They never really change; they're always there. Our chocolate stout is not a traditional, really heavy stout. It's I attribute it like a liquid Hershey bar. It is just delicious and smooth. It's a 10.0. It's a fabulous beer. It's just really something special. Our hazy is our mainstay bestseller, and our cider, which is so deadly. I think I should get a kickback from Uber on this one because it's a 10.1. It's infused with a local cinnamon whiskey. Mermaid Spirits makes a cinnamon whiskey called Basote. So our cider is infused with the Basote cinnamon whiskey, and it is just to die for. But with the summer lager coming out right now, we just released our mango Belgian blonde coming into the summer. So we do a good rotation of beers through the program, as well as summer specialty cocktails and seasonal cocktails and wines.
So, what are some of your seasonal cocktails that you're bringing out?
So right now, we do a jalapeno margarita that is we infuse agave spirits with jalapenos, and we serve it with a little slice of jalapeno. It's just a wonderful summertime drink. Um, we do a variation of a Cosmo that is absolutely fabulous, and then we also do what's called the Rude Cosmo, which is a Cosmo made with tequila instead of vodka. It's a fabulous summer drink. All our cocktails are done and they're all named space themed and things like that. We also have a wonderful little cherry spritzer that we do, and then we have a house made sangria, which is made by the glass. It's a really fabulous sangria, and that'll be extending. It's a red sangria now. That's going to be adding a white sangria soon as well.
I mean, I love sangrias. So the fact that you have house sangria and that, you're gonna bring a white sangria, I mean, love a white sangria. So what are we looking at as far as food menus are concerned?
So this particular establishment, the brewery itself, is very um, brew pub style. So we have hand formed burgers. We have great USDA prime 8-ounce hand formed burger. We make our own pizza dough on site, so we have great little specialty pizzas. We have a margarita pizza with fabulous local mozzarella in it. That is fabulous. A little selection of onion rings. Our accompaniment is we have a spicy pickle that we use, so we do some spicy pickle chips as well as an appetizer. We do a great house roasted, slow roasted roast beef, a Philly pork, just some basic standards that is all made in house, all made fresh with a lot of love and care, and just really simple, great food pub fare. We are going to be working coming out in May. We're going to be doing a brunch that we'll be using the cider to make our own cider donuts. That'll be served warm and some other little things like that. So, always looking at new things, trying to, figure out how to have some fun with our beers and our whiskeys. We have a fabulous bourbon program as well.
I do know that because you and I talk about that a lot. But I want to also mention the fact that you have, your space, Tranquility Brewing Company, is not only, friendly for obviously adults, but it's also friendly for all of your family members.
Yeah, so we are a very family friendly brewery. We have some games, available for kids. We have a small private area for parties because we do have escape rooms in the building as well that you can pair up with and make reservations for parties and such like that. But we have a beautiful outside courtyard area. We are dog friendly as well. We actually, love dogs out in the courtyard playing, having fun. And we do a lot of things at Christmas time. Santa comes for pictures with children and dogs. The Easter Bunny was here and doing pictures with children and dogs. So we do a little thing. Santa will be back. We're going to be doing a little Christmas in July event later on in the year. So, it's just, we really encourage the whole family to come out and relax and enjoy on Sundays, or let me say 99.9% of the Sundays, we have tours of the centrifuge. So you can come into the brewery between 12 and 3, uh, have a meal, a couple beers, go upstairs, sit in the cockpit where Neil Armstrong and all the you know individuals who walked in the moon sat. You can take a tour and see space flight suits and the blue shoe and other artifacts that are around. It's just a really great experience.
What is the blue shoe?
So the blue shoe is the first. So in order to get to 31.25 Gs is which the world record is set at, the human body cannot last more than 16. So an engineer had a theory that if you were immersed in a tank of water, the water would dissipate G forces. So he created this device that looks like a giant blue shoe made out of maybe wash tins or something like that, old wash tubs that were riveted together. And he sat in it and filled it with water and hung it on the bottom of the centrifuge and used that to test his theory with him in it because nobody else would be willing to try. And that is the blue shoe. It went on to become a little bit more of a sophisticated device. They created the Mayo tank, and that's what was used to create the world's record of 31.25.
That's crazy. And to think that all of that kind of just happened in Pennsylvania. Like I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah, the history of what when you do a tour of the Fuge on a Sunday, the history of what you find out that took place in Warminster, Bucks County, for the space race, for the Navy, all the great stuff that took place. And listen, if you're a family and you have daughters in your family, bring them because we really like to promote how important the women engineers who work there, the women scientists who work there, how important um that is.
Yeah. I mean, and especially because we're going to be taking another trip to the moon. Like it's like an exciting thing that's going to happen. And we're all gearing up for that. And to have something with the history of, training astronauts with their first steps towards that, um, so locally like accessible. I mean that just that history in and of itself is kind of like amazing and a reason to like go out and visit and tour on Sundays. But then you can stay obviously and have something to eat and drink.
Oh, absolutely. And we do a lot of fun activities. We have a cornhole league during the week. We have the first Sunday of every or the first Saturday of every month, I'm sorry. We have a classic car show every day or every first Saturday of the month. So they show up at between 2 and 3 in the afternoon. And yesterday we had about 60 classic cars, and it was the first one of the season. The second one will be about double that, and then we have live entertainment that goes with that, and just have a really fun atmosphere. We do some things for Father's Day. We do an end of summer luau. People come, and if you have ideas, we'll take them. And we just like to have fun. We like to introduce people to the world of craft beer. We have 8 different craft beers on, or a minimum of 8 on, tap at any one time. And it's just a really great atmosphere for, you know, the whole family. The cornhole boards are out, and great outside patio, and just a great feel and a great vibe in Bucks County. And, we are the only craft brewery in Warminster. And, it just fits. It's really family based.
Yeah, and not just that, but like in the like it's family based, but it's also like you can. I mean, I guess actually that is the point. You can bring anybody with you to the bar. Obviously, if you have little ones, they can't sit at the bar, but they can certainly sit in the outdoor area or probably the tables that are in the air in the inside the building. But in the last 4 minutes of that you have on, to talk about Tranquility Brewing, why don't you let people know, like, can they hold an event in the spaces that are available?
Oh, absolutely. We do all style events. So our little venue, which is called the Lab, holds up to about 100 people, and that's really great for like sweet 16s and birthday parties and small family functions. People love that. We're It's probably our busiest venue for number of events. Just in the fact that it's, every weekend there's a couple sweet 16s there. It's kind of one of them. Hey, for $35, you can drop off your kids for 3.5 hours. We feed them, we give them sugary substances. uh you know we clean up after them, and at the end of the party you kind of take the gifts and go home, and it's a wonderful situation. We do a dessert and a nice buffet for them and beverages. It's a great way to entertain. And then we have our softer field, because we are an industrial looking venue. We're an old military installation. There's no hiding that.
Yeah.
We do have, reinforced concrete walls and things like that. But we have the studio upstairs named in honor of our beer maker, who is a Grammy Award winning music producer, and his studio is on the 3rd floor. So the studio is, nice carpeted venue, beautiful dance floor, great lighting, giant built in bar, a separate cocktail area, a little bride's room if you need one there, and everything like that. And then we have the masterpiece, which is the Fuge room. The Fuge room holds up to 800 people very comfortably. State of the art lighting, has two, and we have the ability for a third when we need to. 39-foot video screens. I said 39 foot.
That's huge.
Has a laser light show if need be, state of the art lighting, built in sound system. So the DJ will just kind of plug and play. Built in bars, our craft beer all around, and our bar packages, and we do all our catering in house. We have customized catering packages. We have catering packages that are all written out for clients, and just a great ability. But we do a lot of weddings. We do a lot of mitzvahs, a lot of corporate events. We do a lot of galas. We have Angel Flight East coming up. So like a weekend like this coming in, I have a 600-person prom. I have a gala. I have a Sweet 16. I have a benefit for area fire company. So I have things running across every price point going on.
I mean, it sounds amazing, and sadly I have not been there yet, but I will be there. And I just to be in a space that has all of that available. Where can people find it online and in person?
So you can go to the venue is www.rentthefuge.com. That's RENTTHEFUGE.com. You can go to www.tranquilitybrewing.com. You can email me directly at gene@rentthefuge.com. You can also go to Facebook for Tranquility Brewing or the Fuge. We are, an out of this world kind of situation. Our address is 780 Falcon Circle in Warminster, Pennsylvania. If you look on a map and it looks like it's in the middle of an industrial park, you are absolutely correct. It was in the middle of a military installation. So, we sit back off Jacksonville Road. We're kind of at Jacksonville and Street Road in Warminster, Pennsylvania.
All right. Well, Gene, thank you so much for joining us at Food Farms and Chefs on your own show and talking about Tranquility Brewing.
Hey, come out and visit us. Do a little brewery tour. We are on the Bucks County Ale Trail, and come out and give us a try. I think you'll be very happy with the beers that we have and just everything about us.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.